coming to first to you. You mentioned at the very start that you're very happy that quote-unquote North Indians are accepting or talking about the symbols of South India. I remember you were on a debate with me when we were discussing Kamal Hassan's comment about how Cholas, whether they are Hindus or not. But leave that aside. It's good to discuss history because we all learn a lot, even if belated. But is it not that the Sengol is once again a reflection that at least in post-independent India, a lot of our traditions, historical markers, things that are our heritage, including, let's say, the Sengol, were either suppressed or sidelined? The fact that not many knew about the Sengol or even the Sengol transfer during independence in itself shows that so much has been sidelined or relegated to just mere footnotes. On top of that is the charge that this was kept at the Allahabad Museum as a mere walking stick.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm so happy that the Sengol has finally found a place where it really deserves it. In fact, I would hope that along with the Sengol, they have a few passages from the Sangam literature, which actually, and there are 4 or 5 of them, fairly easy to read, which all talk about how parliamentarians should behave, how they should not let the trappings of power feed into their ego, and they need to remember that they need to ultimately do good for the people. So I think it's gone to the right place. Absolutely. I mean, you take facts, yeah. Today, all of us in India know much more about the Mughals than anybody else. But which is the longest ruling dynasty, not just in India, but probably across the world? It's the Pandyas. Nobody's even heard of them. So it's about time that we reclaimed all these kind of things and got back our history and heritage.
Okay, Mita
Chakraborti, we've got to be proud of these kind of things. How many people know that many think that democracy itself was a gift of the British? We've had fairly sophisticated democratic systems in Tamil Nadu, in Manur, in Uttamarur, in places. We don't find these in books.
No, the Greek are considered the ones who came up with democracy. But we, as you're saying, in India, we had democratic models well before the Greek.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, let me bring in...
Not before the Greek, but before the British for sure.
All right. Let me bring in Mita as well. Mita, the charge that the Congress faces always, and this particular moment is also becoming a reflection of that, is that you've always been very uncomfortable of any Indic traditions, symbols and such. And even Indian history was relegated, and in the post-independence era, you know, leftists ruled the roost, especially in the terms of education. And a lot of what Indians should have been proud of was sidelined.
Okay, you are putting this allegation, or you're saying a section of the public discourse has been putting this allegation on Indian National Congress, the party that has fought for India's independence and has a party where the Prime Minister, one of our former Prime Ministers, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, had split up Pakistan into 2 parts and changed the geography. The geographical map of the world forever.
No, that's not related. That's not related. I'm particularly talking about history. And as our panelist also is talking about, why don't our kids study more about, Indic kingdoms? And why is it that this stick was kept at Allahabad Museum as a walking stick?
It's laughable as an accusation, but let me come back. So none of the co-panelists could provide, and I think many of your co-panelists agreed that there are not enough documented evidences that in ancient history this was indeed a symbol of transfer of power. But this is not so much about symbolism. If we consider that this is a symbol for just an inclusive governance, which was the point that I was trying to make earlier, then why was the president, who is the rightful person...
No, but Mita, I'm not discussing that today. Please, I've given you the opportunity to register that point, but please don't take more time on that. I'm not discussing that today. We've discussed that ad nauseum. Why was this scepter relegated in the Allahabad Museum as a mere walking stick? What's the defense of that?
It was not. It was not. We have never denied that Pandit Nehru had not accepted
Sir, I'm coming to you.
All your co-panelists had said that, before Nehruji became the president, or before India had gained independence, it was the Britishers, and they were non-Hindus, right? So they were the ones who were governing what is now called India. And before that, in ancient history, there has been, many of your co-panelists agreed that there had been not enough documented evidences where it shows that...
But why was it kept as a walking stick? It still is not justified that this was a mere walking stick in a museum.
There are not enough documented
At least could have been reflected. Its history could have been reflected.
I know that BJP is all about event management. The
Okay, all right. Mita, I have to go across to Narayanan Tirupati.
Congratulations
Narayanan
to them to carry on their events.
Why was this relegated as a walking stick in a museum? How are people going to learn about it and its historical significance then?
See, that is Congress. See, she was telling that, the Congress person was saying that it was the Congress party which fought for freedom of India. No, it is not the Congress party. It was the organization. It was a Congress organization under one umbrella. Everyone, each and everyone in India with different ideologies fought. We have to understand this. Even our Dr. Hedgewar was part of the Congress. The communists were part of the Congress. We need to understand this. As if this Congress party under the Rahul Gandhi, they have fought, they did not fight, for the freedom. And it is very, very clear. Today, the Dharmapuram, the Tiruvadurai Adinam has very clearly said that it has been documented in their mud that they have given.
The Adinam certainly has talked about how this entire ceremony was meant to symbolize the transfer of power. I think we should give value to their word as well.
Shivani, there is, I heard that there is one person still he is alive.
Yes, who was part of the ceremony.
Yes, and he will prove, he will say what has happened. And the Congress, as usual, they will lie so many things. And
I think irrespective of whether it was taken by the government as a symbol of transfer of power is irrelevant. The very fact that the ceremony took place, common sense dictates it was meant symbolically to suggest the rule is passing on from the Britishers to the Indians now. I don't think we need to hair split this anymore. But Desh Ratan Nigam